Husker Sports Network programming begins in 2 minutes. And this is our final time check. The network will go silent for the final 1 minute. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 1 minute.
Live from the Acres Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Trev Alberts. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
3-1 Huskers, bottom of the fifth. Zumo's 1-2, and Farrell swings and hammers it to left. A no-doubt grand slam for Farrell.
Deep on the right side, Brown takes the pass, works out top. Michael Keaton, deep three, top of the key. You betcha! Big time hit for Michael Keaton.
1-1 to Everett. There goes the runner, the pitch. That's ripped into right center field. That's a gapper for Everett. That's going to roll toward the wall. Rounding third is Anderson. He's going to score. Everett's got an RBI double. It's 3-0 Big Red.
Shot clock at 18. Widener down the lane. Challenges layup. Good. Allison Widener.
Matt Widener can go to work right now. Got it for the record. You just heard Nebraska basketball history, and we just called it. Bryce McGowan's with 446 career points, the most points ever scored by a Nebraska freshman.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, good Thursday evening to you, everybody, and welcome into Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Greg Sharpe on the road, traveling with Husker baseball as they get set to face TCU in a top 20 matchup down there in Arlington. Greg will be joining us at the top of the hour in the second hour, but we've got a big hour coming up for you right now as Athletics Director Trev Alberts joins us for his monthly hour-long show, and it is a busy time of the year. I mean, this is crossover season, right? You got winter sports entering the postseason, you got spring sports starting up. How do you go about scheduling and managing all your time this time of the year?
Well, I apologize a lot to my wife. I've learned to do that. But no, this is, I mean, there's certainly challenges to the job, but there's also a lot of fun, to see our student athletes competing and all the sports getting going and watching softball and, of course, and baseball get going. So it's an exciting time, a lot of events. And what I've learned is the student athletes really like it when the administration comes and shows support. And so we do that the very best that we can.
Well, a crazy busy weekend coming up this weekend, and we're going to dive into a lot of that. But coming up Friday night, the final home game for Nebraska men's basketball inside PBA, 8 o'clock against number 25 Iowa. And I know we have a lot of questions regarding Nebraska men's basketball, and you kind of have some news that you want to lead off with here to start the show.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to really encourage our fans to come out and support those young men, support our seniors, and obviously, the season has not gone the way anybody wanted. It's been a really tough season. It's been tough for our fans to watch, to be honest. It's been tough for all of us, and really tough for Fred. But love to have our fans come out, support those young men, and see if we can knock off the Hawkeyes. But I think it's important to let our fans know and to let others know. I've been here about 7.5 months now, and so not a real long time. But I've been working with Coach Hoiberg, and he and I have been meeting weekly, a lot like I did with Coach Frost. And the reality is that both of us, agree that the results just are unacceptable. And Coach Hoiberg is frustrated like everybody else. But we've worked through a lot of different scenarios, and I think the thing that's important for people to know, I know we still have some games to play, is that Fred will be back as our coach. And one of the things that we're going to do is that Fred, as we continued meeting and talking about the future of men's basketball, I asked him for some vision and some planning and what can we do in our program to change, because we can't continue doing this. And he presented a plan to me and ultimately sold that plan to me, and he's agreed to restructure his contract, which I think is really important. Fred really likes it here. Fred wants to be here. I've known Fred for a long time. Fred was in Indianapolis when I was with the Colts. He was actually playing. I was doing a lot of watching. He was with the Pacers. But, Fred's built successful teams. I've watched him do that. So this will all ultimately come out like we did with Coach Frost. But he's going to reduce his salary next year to $3.25 million. He's going to give up a $500,000 stay bonus to help us make some of the changes that he'd like to make in the future. And then we're reducing the buyout amount to $11 million. So we'll have some similar metrics like we did with football. Those will be confidential between Fred and I. I'm just looking forward to working with Fred. We need to reorient this program. And he's committed to doing it. I'm committed to working with him. Again, it's been 7 months. And I'm excited about the future, and we need to finish strong. But clearly, we need to do some things differently, and Fred's committed to doing that, and I'm committed to working with him to try to exact the kind of change that we need to be successful in the Big Ten.
How do you kind of go about coming to that conclusion, besides just the plan that he laid in place, just knowing that that's the right move for Husker basketball moving forward?
Well, you do the best that you can. There's a lot of things outside of, basketball specific, in terms of decision making, and a lot of those contemplate previous commitment that the university's made. The reality is the university made an 8-year commitment to Fred Hoiberg, and we've finished 3 years of that contract. And so I think part of it is those weekly meetings. It's talking through the realities of where we are today as a program, where we think we can go. We're investing heavily in men's basketball. Men's basketball is an important component to what we're going to do in this athletic department going forward. And, it's no secret we're a football school, but the reality is the investment that we've made in men's basketball and women's basketball as well. We are investing in this program at a high level. And so the results have to be there. I would have to be honest and tell you, Jessica, with what we did with football, and again, I'm going to be very careful. We have not played a game. We haven't won a game. The reality is that football has some tangible momentum, and there's a willingness to change. And, I sense some similar attributes with Fred and a significant desire. Fred wants to be here. He's determined to be successful, and you have to start with that. But this is a time of adversity for our athletic department, and as I remind myself, and it's not just our coaches, it's our entire administration when you think about it, but growth doesn't happen when things are going really well. Growth happens when we look inwardly and we look at change and we make adjustments, and when you go through those adversity and first time. So I'm looking forward to it. I believe in Fred, and looking forward to the changes that he makes. Those changes will be his to make, and they'll be on his timeline. I want to be very clear about that as well.
And again, coming up 8 o'clock tomorrow night inside PBA, the final time inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, and we'll honor 7 different players for Senior Day. So a group that has contributed significantly, and some guys that still have some decisions to make, could be back, but going to go ahead and be honored on Senior Night. It's also going to be Senior Day on Sunday for Amy Williams' crew, and 3 special seniors there as well, and 2 big wins in a row for Amy Williams' crew. You got to be proud of that team.
Really proud of women's basketball, proud of Amy. It's no secret women's basketball has been through an emotional time. It's been a challenging time, and unfortunately, these are an HR issue that we really can't discuss publicly. But I'm proud of the resiliency of the women's basketball program, and I think it's indicative of the culture that permeates what she's built there. To be able to deal with some of the challenges they have, and to be able to gut out a gritty win like that on the road. Just really proud of them. Now, I've got some tough games coming up. You and I were talking before the show about trying to think about what sort of seed they would be and how far this team can go. But they have the type of character and work ethic and love for one another that they can do special things. And so proud of Coach Williams and proud of those young women. 21 wins. The 20 season in basketball is not an easy thing to accomplish, and they're going for win number 22 on Sunday against Northwestern. You've put it on social media how much you enjoy watching this team. Why do you enjoy watching this basketball team play so much? Well, I think it's reflective of what the values that Nebraskans hold dear. Again, I say this all the time. The reality is that we don't have to win every game here, but if you have a program that the players love each other, play for each other, unselfish, disciplined, fundamentally sound, tough, gritty, that's Nebraskans, and that's what our alumni are all about. And so, of course, I also believe that if those attributes are present, you're going to win more than you're going to lose, and that's kind of how I was raised as a student athlete here, and it's something that's important to me, and I think all of our coaches, recognize that. Amy has really embraced it. She's a grinder. It's obviously she's an alum here, and her passion for Husker athletics is real, and you can just see how fans have just been so attracted to that team and the way that they've played. And again, we're not always going to win every game, but I think it's more the way you play. It's effort, it's toughness, determination, and dedication, and her team has it.
Are you a fan of March Madness and postseason basketball?
Oh, I love March Madness. I love postseason basketball. It's one of the great things about college athletics. And, we always, at least I do, I always love cheering and rooting for the underdog, right? It's the beauty of sport is there's some white lines, and you go between them and you get to find out, and you get to measure yourself. And the results are almost instantaneous. And as a competitive person, there's nothing better. And when you go into that arena, and if things don't go your way, then you're able to define where you're deficient. You go back and go to work and look forward to the next chance you can to see if you can get it done. And that's what I love about March Madness. The underdog has a chance, and there will be teams that spend 1/10 of what others spend and will find a way to win the game. And I think that's pretty cool.
The Cinderella stories, gotta love
right.
them. Also coming along with the wrapping up the regular season, Big Ten awards and postseason awards are going to be coming out very shortly, and a good chance that Nebraska basketball sweeps both the Big Ten Freshman of the Year awards to go along with, the Big Ten Freshman Volleyball Player of the Year in Lexi Rodriguez. But Alexis Markowski, Bryce McCowens have been two extremely exciting young talented basketball players to watch here this season.
And what's been really nice for me is to watch how they've grown through the course of the season.
Right.
And I think they would both say, when you think about their first game or two here, their freshman year, clearly they had talent, but look at the way they're playing today versus where they were, I think 14 times between the two of them, each 7 times they've each been Big Ten Freshman of the Week. I mean, that's really remarkable. And so I think that's indicative of the type of talent. The positive thing about obviously basketball in a very challenging year for the men, the positive thing that we can take out of it is this is a place that can attract top talent, and top talent can come here and do some special things. Now clearly we need to continue in the acquisition of that talent and the growth and development, but same thing for Alexis, and to see a local kid and have a dad who played here and the family, it must just be a special time for their family. And I told her in the locker room one day, I said, your dad never played as tough as you. I mean, just and having some fun with her. So really proud of those young folks. And by the way, sure, they're great basketball players, but you and I were talking as well before, and they're great people. They're good students. They do the right thing, and they've been great representatives of our university.
I hope Alexis told her dad you said that.
I do too, but he didn't say anything to me, so maybe she was scared to tell.
She said she's given him a pretty hard time that he never hit a three, and she's hit several of them. So hopefully she continues. That's more ammunition for her to talk some trash to old dad there.
Well, I think clearly her game is more all around developed than her dad's, wouldn't you say? I mean, you think
agree.
about it.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully he's listening and hears that for sure. All right, we're going to step aside for a quick break. Still lots to get to here with Trev Alberts on our Athletics Director Hour. 402-413-2400 if you want to be a part of the show. The Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplify car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com.
Ford has something for everyone. Discover the all-new 2022 F-150 Ranger or Maverick. From the affordable 2022 Ford Maverick to the capable 2022 Ford F-150, all built to help you make the most of your work week or weekend. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle with the features you want. Plus, shop, finance, and buy your way online at woodhouseford.com or one of our 3 convenient Ford dealerships.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska researchers are designing the next generation of roadside steel barriers through an industry partnership with Trafix Devices. This partnership has produced the Delta Crash Cushion, a simplistic, effective way to keep drivers safe on highways. This barrier is vital for roadside safety and significantly improves the chances motorists will be able to walk away from roadside collisions.
Here's the pitch. That's a base hit down the right field line for Anderson. Scoring is Banjoff. Chesson around second. Digging for third. He's in there. It's first and third. Still nobody out. 3 straight hits off the bats of the Huskers. They lead it 1-0.
Max Anderson and the Big Red head to Texas tomorrow as they take on TCU at 6 p.m. Catch all the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network with pregame coverage beginning at 5:30 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Huskers fans, it's time to plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Single game tickets are on sale now at huskers.com/Ireland. Start the 2022 season in the best way. Plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Buy your single game ticket today at huskers.com/Ireland.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
This isn't the start. Before I got here, I started training. And before that, I did something to my back. But my first move was Athletico Physical Therapy. That's where I'd eventually end up. So why not start there? I mean, my therapist immediately found the source of my pain. These are the same physical therapists who work with elite marathon runners. So soon, I was back to running, but without pain. You got this.
It all starts at Athletico. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com.
Did you know that cigarette butts make up a large portion of microplastics in the ocean, which end up in 70% of seabirds and 30% of sea turtles? Bank of the West is helping to solve this problem by not financing big tobacco, proving that what a bank chooses not to finance can be just as important as what it does. Learn more about what we do and don't finance at bankofthewest.com/change. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From sprains and stitches to sore throats and sinus infections, when it's care that can't wait, count on CHI Health Clinic Priority Care. Simply walk in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll get the quality care you need without an appointment, and you'll never pay more than a regular primary care visit. Get in, get out, and get on with your day. Find a location near you at chihealth.com/priority care.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Jessica Coody here with Athletics Director Trev Alberts, here till the 7 o'clock hour with us, answering all your questions, whatever you might have. 402-413-2400 if you have a question or want to give us a call. We talked a little bit about a busy weekend, but exciting news for Nebraska bowling. They're going to be on television on the Big Ten Network for the very first time. That's super exciting for any program.
Well, I'm so excited for those young ladies, and they're really excited. And by the way, they've demanded that I be there, and it's all weekend long. But I'll be there on Sunday for sure. The Big Ten Network. I think it's the first time in the history of the network that bowling will be featured, and what better program to feature than ours? 11-time national champion and 4-time runner-up. Paul's just done such a great job, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've learned a lot about bowling. I thought you just grabbed the ball and threw it. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of skill behind it, and it's
strategy too.
There's a lot of strategy,
with the matchups and everything.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing them compete, and we'd encourage the public, if they can, to come on out and check out our bowling team.
We have Kendall Hoffmeister, who's going to be on in the second hour with us, and she said that it's the best when they're at home. It's the best atmosphere in all of college bowling. You're probably not surprised by that either.
Well, of course. I mean, first of all, our facilities are great, and I know they're not in our regular facility for this tournament, but the facilities in our community are great as well. And it's Husker Nation. It's our fans, and so one thing you learn about our fans, they appreciate winning and excellence, and bowling has been a consistent theme, and that's been a consistent theme for our bowling program.
Well, another exciting event that's on the horizon, the Big Ten Wrestling Championships. Eric Schultz was on the show last week, and he said that he almost enjoys the Big Ten Championships more than the NCAA tournament and championships because of just, again, it's the best wrestling in all of college wrestling, and the fans are just absolutely crazy and passionate about college wrestling. How excited are you for that event to be here in Lincoln?
Well, we're really excited, and the reason why, I mean, outside of the NCAA championships, this will be, I think, the highest number of folks attending. We've got over 10,200 reserve seats sold already.
Wow.
That's going to be incredible, an incredible environment down at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And so, again, we've tried really hard to protect Husker fans, to make sure that our fans had the best seats in the lower bowl. But Mark Manning's got a team, and you never know what can happen. Obviously, there's some tremendous wrestling programs out there, Penn State and Iowa and others. But if you watched wrestling the other night against Iowa, although we didn't win that, you could see a different level of confidence from our team. And they're not afraid of anybody, and they're going to fight anybody. So we'll see what can happen. Our team's really excited about it, getting to host it. The other thing I should say is that I'd like to thank the NSAA. We oftentimes have to do certain things. We only get to host these like once every 14 years. We were able to work with our partners, Jay and others over there, to move some of the high school basketball tournament, which allowed us to get to host the Big Ten Wrestling. And so I want to give a little shout out to the NSAA for being great partners and helping us do this. This is a big thing for our community. It's great for our wrestling program and great for our fans.
Well, and the Regents approved a couple weeks ago or last week that alcohol sales will be allowed there at the Big Ten tournament. I got a feeling this is what Tim in Minnesota is going to ask us about, so we'll go to him here on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. Tim, how's it going tonight?
Good. Hey, Trev. I actually met you during college years a couple of times. Actually, Bible study I actually was able to be in. Mostly I knew Matt Hamlin and Greg Fletcher.
Yeah. All right, Tim. Great to see you, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, and my thing is on alcohol. You know, it's been an issue for a long time, or as far as it seems like, you know, just the concern of the effects of behavior with alcohol. I could be wrong on that as far as a deterrent for, you know, not allowing it. And maybe you can fill me in on that a little bit, you know, the actual reason, but, you know, just the concern of conduct, I think. And I've always kind of supported, you know, it not being in there just for that concern, but maybe you can shed more light on that.
Well, Tim, first of all, thanks again for calling. It's a great question, and I think it's actually why we're doing what we're doing. And the reality is we have had a lot of feedback. It's a fan amenity that's, you know, desired by some, and not all, certainly. But part of our strategy was to say, okay, we have a facility in the Pinnacle Bank Arena that obviously is in the business of selling alcohol. They do it at concerts and they do it everything outside of Husker athletics. And so while this isn't an official Husker athletic event, it's a Big Ten championship. It's an opportunity because Pinnacle Bank has all the infrastructure in place. And so it gives us an opportunity to try it as a one-off. We have not made the decision, nor do we have any approval on any other facility within Husker athletics, but I think this gives us an opportunity with a proper infrastructure in place to see what happens. This will be a highly charged, emotional environment, and I think we're going to learn a lot. And that's the whole idea of doing it, is to learn and see what actually happens. But I certainly appreciate your perspective, Tim, and I agree with you that we have concern, and we'll see how it works.
Thank you, Tim, for that call. Got a text for you from Jake. Trev, what advice would you give yourself, or what do you wish you would have known prior to taking the Husker athletics job? Jake in, I think, Friend, Nebraska.
You know, Jake, there's a lot of things I didn't know, but there isn't anything that I wish I'd have known. I love this place. I love Nebraska. And I love the privilege and opportunity to serve our great coaches and student athletes. And listen, the part of leadership is problem solving. And the sooner you embrace the reality that we live in a world of problems and full of people and human beings just like me, sinners like me. So we have plenty of problems to solve, and we'll continue to have problems to solve. But the reality is this job is a little bit different than the job that I had in Omaha previously. You know, we were there 12 and a half years, and in Omaha we ended up making some fairly significant decisions, but ultimately took our athletic department back to the sticks, if you will, and we had a blank canvas to sort of recreate this vision. A little bit different here in that the vision has been cast, and there were several things in process, and your job is to either get them over the finish line or to help navigate through decisions that were made by previous leadership. And each of those are different challenges. Each of those are fulfilling, but nothing would deter me from feeling incredibly blessed to be a part of what I think is the best athletic department in the country.
Well, we talk a lot about sports and competing and winning, but it's more than just being an athlete, right? There's a student part to it. And I know fantastic news coming out that, hey, these student athletes took care of business in the fall. In fact, a record-breaking GPA.
3.327 cumulative GPA of almost 650 student athletes.
Wow.
And, listen, winning is really important, and we are committed to winning. We need to do our part. We haven't won enough and it needs to change. But I will also tell you, we will never lose our focus as long as I'm here, that these are also student athletes. And we're going to make sure, we would be cheating them if we didn't force them to keep the proper focus on making sure that they're making progress towards degree and getting a really quality degree. So, Dennis LeBlanc, Kate Jewell, all of those folks that are over, I hate even saying any names because we're going to miss them, and I won't say them all, but there are folks in the academic area who work so hard, our learning specialists and others who pour into these young men and young women to help them. And then our coaches for recruiting the type of young men and young women who take academics seriously. It makes me really proud, and I think our fans are proud that we have students that do really well in the classroom as well and are really engaged in our community.
Did Dennis LeBlanc help you get your degree and help you go to class?
Well, he thinks he did. No, Dennis and Keith were both here, which I think it's interesting to them that here I'm this student athlete that they helped, and they did, get a degree, and now here we are working together. But, they take their jobs really seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You think about coaches and the passion they have to win. Dennis and Keith and all of that team, Life Skills, they're just as passionate about their role in this athletic department as our coaches are. And, it's a real selling point in recruiting for us. I mean, we still lead the nation in academic All-Americans, and Dennis is competitive. He and his staff are competitive about it, and they take it very seriously. And the reality is now with our APR scores and GSR scores and others, and I think you'll ultimately see, with the Alston ruling, and we call it the 5980, and some of those academic dollars that'll be tied to academics as well. There's dollars that come from the NCAA based on how successful we are in those areas. So there's a competitive component to how well we're doing academically, and we take that very seriously.
Well, because a lot of these, potential recruits and that come in, I've been really surprised and pleased to hear a lot of them will mention Dennis by name, that, that's important to them to come in and be able to be set up to be successful, because, for a lot of them, they realize that sports doesn't always last forever. So how they're going to be prepared for what comes next. And it's huge here.
The reality is young people today are fairly sophisticated. And while a lot of them have dreams of playing professionally, the reality is we encourage them to think about, what does your life look like when the cheering stops? Because the cheering's going to stop at some point, and you're going to have to transition into something meaningful. And Dennis and Keith and Life Skills and others really do a great job of helping transition them. And we're looking for additional partnerships. The HFLA, which is our Husker former football players and Letterman Association, they're looking at opportunities to partner with current players, and these are past players, to help mentor them and to help them transition. So we're going to do everything we can to support young people here. Obviously, we're in the competition business. We're here to win. But from my perspective, and the reason I came to Nebraska back in 1989 was I was sold on a vision that we could win at everything. And I don't see anything in my 7.5 months that would preclude our ability to win at everything in 2022 like it was in 1989.
All right, well, let's take another break, work in another break here. Much more to come. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little football with Trev Alberts. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If I won one of the 8 new trucks the Nebraska Lottery is giving away in Trucks and Bucks 2022, I'd be off-roading all the time, through muddy riverbeds, across dusty prairies. I'd treat that truck like a tank. I'd be merciless.
Can I ride along?
Only if you wear shoe covers to protect the carpeting, promise not to eat or drink anything inside the cab, and polish the dashboard when you leave.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
At Subaru, they love building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The redesigned 2021 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. An upgrade in horsepower means you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Visit DeTow Subaru at 27th Street and Jamie Lane in Lincoln or at DeTowSubaru.com. Upgraded horsepower available on select models.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Got it for the record. You just heard Nebraska basketball history at Bryce McGowan's with 446 career points, the most points ever scored by a Nebraska freshman.
Freshman phenom Bryce McGowan's and Husker Hoops host the Iowa Hawkeyes tomorrow night at PBA. Catch all the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network with pregame starting at 7 p.m. and first tip at 8. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Husker fans, baseball season is right around the corner. Your defending Big Ten champions want to see you at their games this season. Secure your spot in Haymarket Park today. Season tickets and single game tickets are on sale now. Diamond Deal packages offer 9 games for $54 in general admission seating, allowing you to choose 9 games from any of the Huskers' 30 home games this season. For more information, visit huskers.com/tickets today. Go Big Red.
We make car buying easy at Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley, Iowa, where we have a full lineup of cars, trucks, and SUVs. See what Chevy has to offer and explore the 2022 Traverse, Blazer, or Equinox. From solo missions to a party of 5, our SUVs are dressed to impress with spacious seating and cargo areas so everybody can enjoy the ride. Find new roads in-store or online anytime at woodhousegm.com.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul. Not to mention their injury list. Cox, we're sports 24/7. Learn more at cox.com/sports.
Everyone knows that Dakota Mac is known for their great rates on long-term fixed ag real estate loans. But just how long-term are they? Well, even longer term than your first ride on the Gravitron at the county fair. And even longer term than the line to buy the corn dog you definitely shouldn't have eaten before you got on the Gravitron. Oof, so long-term.
Hi, it's Boyd Minry from Dakota Mac. Give me a call at 402-463-4637 to learn all about our competitive rates on 30-year fixed-rate loans.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. During the summer of 2021, 3 UNL students helped safeguard cattle across the state. Neely Anderson, Tatiana Jones, and Ashton Commons developed secure beef supply plans that prevent the spread of disease outbreak. The plans protect nearly 850,000 cattle across our state and provide greater economic security for this vital industry.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network broadcast center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. A couple more segments here with Trev Alberts. Well, hey, it was a pretty big day around here yesterday. Happy 85th birthday to Tom Osborne. I know he had a special event down here in the studio. A lot of former players coming in, but 85, man. Pretty remarkable milestone there.
He doesn't look a day over 84. I mean, when obviously, Coach is a dear friend and a mentor, and I would just encourage anybody. I know that a lot of people have supported teammates, but if you have $85, it would be so meaningful to send in a check or a gift to teammates.org in honor of Coach. And I would tell you that obviously he's really proud of the former players and very loyal, and I know he's proud of all the wins, but I would tell you, I think the thing that he is most proud of is teammates.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most meaningful to him. It's the impact on young people. He has poured into so many young people while he was a coach, and then he leaves coaching and continues pouring into all these young people. And not just him, but all of the mentors that have chosen to take their time to invest in the mentees all across the states, in Kansas, all over, Wyoming, and the impact that teammates has had, and Tom and Nancy Osborne is hard to define. But I would say that while 255 victories is a pretty impressive legacy, teammates stands above. And so if you're so inclined and you have the ability to send $85 to support teammates, I know it'd mean a lot to my coach.
All right, got a phone call for you here. Pete wants to talk a little football with you. Pete, thanks for the call. We got him? Pete, you there?
Hello.
There we go.
Hi,
Got
Pete.
ya.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Pete. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. So I wanted to say I have a lot of respect for the way you lead. Keep it up.
Well, thank you very much. I promise you I make mistakes every day, Pete, but we're trying hard, and we've got great people in this athletic department. We have great coaches. We can do this. It's a time of adversity, and we're going to grow through it together, and we're going to get better, and we're not going to stop working. That's what Husker Nation demands of us and expects of us, and we're going to do our part.
Well, now comes the tough question.
Oh, well, Pete, I thought we were done. I was going to say goodbye, but you go ahead.
I know you know an awful lot about football. You're very football smart. So put your coach's hat on.
Okay.
And tell me how much you would differ in the offensive defensive schemes from Coach Frost. I'll hang up and listen to you, and I really appreciate what you're doing down at the university.
Thank you, Pete. I don't know how many shows we've done, but that's a pretty tough question from Pete. He's been working on that a while, hasn't
And
he?
he set you up. You were like, that's the best question of the day, and now he's got a tough one for you.
It's the great lesson. You build people up so you can tear them down. No. Pete, it really is a good question, though. And the reality is as well, I tell people this all the time. I mean, I know football, of course, but I have been out of football for a long time, and football has evolved. It's changed. Back when I played, we played basically in a phone booth. I mean, everything was played right here, and obviously football now is really attacking every single piece of the field, and using so many different types of formations and personnel groups, and so even as a defensive player, what you have to defend today looks a lot different than it does in 1993. So I would not portend to know or challenge what Coach Frost and the coaches would do. That's their job. They're experts at that. I would just say that what we've talked about is being physical. I mean, football is a gladiator sport. There's a toughness component to it, and I think I'm just really focused on some of the attributes, toughness and playing for each other and those types of things. It's harder for me to get into the schematics of it. Mark Whipple has forgotten more football than I ever knew, I promise you. And so well, Pete, it's a wonderful question. I don't think I'll take the bait tonight and tell you that I would insert a different style than either of the two. I will say that I do like what Eric does in terms of the aggressive nature of the defense. I think you have to get pressure on quarterbacks. In a perfect world, you could do it with just your front four and not have to blitz. But I like his scheme. I think it's sound. I think it's fundamentally disciplined, and I think that's important.
Spring ball starts on Monday. Crazy. It's already here.
Yeah, it does. And by the way, I heard a little rumor. The football team's been doing some mat drills, and they've been doing some running. And the other morning, when it was just freezing cold and spit and snow, they decided to go outside and take their shirts off and run around a little bit. And I heard a rumor that an old quarterback we had took his shirt off and ran around out there with him. So we got Scott out running, doing some of the same things the players are doing. But I know the players are ready. They're looking forward to it. And They're going to need this is an important spring. You know, when you think about all the springs, this spring with all of the new players, you know, this transfer portal has just changed everything. And by the way, I don't want to list all their names, but I've had a chance to interact at the training table with several of them, and boy, we've got some quality young men that have joined our program and some quality coaches. So, again, we haven't won any games. This new staff is undefeated, but I like their momentum. But this is a really important spring for them. We're going to have to install a lot of new things, get new players up. So I'm looking forward to hosting that spring game on April 9th. I think we've got 37,000 tickets that have sold already, and we'd like to get as many people there as we possibly can. But I think spring ball is when you find out who's going to play in the fall. It's an important time.
44 days until the spring game, and we've got a question. No timetable, right? No time set. You don't know a time.
Yeah, we're still working on that. The Big Ten Network wants to put it on the Big Ten Network and air it. So I don't have that definitively, but I understand we need to, as soon as we can, get that time out.
You mentioned the ticket sales and just, you know, recruiting on television. How important has the spring game become for a football program?
Well, it's really important, you know, and trying to get as many visitors here as we possibly can. It's wonderful to showcase on the Big Ten Network. You know, recruits watch, future prospects watch, folks from across the country. Obviously, you have to be very vanilla when it gets to the spring game, especially if it's on television where everybody can get it. And we've got a new system. Obviously, the first game we're going to play is in Ireland against Northwestern. It'll be a pretty important game, so we're probably not going to lay out the entire game plan. But having that many fans in our stadium for a spring scrimmage says a lot about our fan base and program.
And I know a lot of former players are planning on coming back this year, and we did have a text. Seems like having Zach Taylor back for the spring game could be a huge recruiting tool and nice reunion. Otherwise, has such an invitation gone out?
Well, we're trying. You know, nothing would please me more. Zach Taylor is, wow, what a year he had coaching the Cincinnati Bengals, and you know, we're really proud of what he's accomplished. And you know, I'd also like to have Ndamukong Suh come back. And I kind of thought it would be neat during the spring game if we could get Zach and Scott mic'd up, and somehow they could just be watching offense together and be talking about some of the nuances. You know, Pete called and talked about schematic. I would watch that and listen to learn a little bit from Scott and Zach. So we love it when former Huskers come back. Sometimes the timing doesn't always work based on what they have going on in their world, but you know, the more former players that can come back, the better.
All right, let's take our final break before our final segment. Still a couple more minutes here with Trev Alberts. If you want to be a part of the show, 402-413-2400, the Sports Nightly Hotline. Brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Happy Monday, everybody! Yay!
Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week.
Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday.
Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting.
Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Don't let the cold winter worry you. As Nebraska's leading supplier of propane, you can count on Sapp Brothers to keep your family warm this winter. You're like family, And your safety is the number one priority of Sap Brothers. When it comes to your propane needs, Sap Brothers has you covered. Visit www.sapbros.net/petroleum to find your local Sap Brothers propane expert. Celebrating 50 years of fueling America's heartland and welcoming guests, Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Start your car buying journey today at Woodhouse Ford and experience the difference. Our team is ready to help you get the job done with our full lineup of all new 2022 trucks. The 2022 F-150, Ranger, and Maverick are built tough and ready to tackle whatever lies ahead. Shop online anytime at WoodhouseFord.com or visit us in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth. Woodhouse Ford has something for everyone.
Welcome back into our final segment here with Trev Alberts. The Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Let's quickly get to the phones here as we have a few minutes left here of this segment. And John in Lincoln, you are on the line. Thanks for calling.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Hi, John.
My question is, I've been a Nebraska fan for over 75 years. And my question is, how are you going to evaluate not only football but basketball when you are looking at how a program is doing and whether you're going to make a change? And I think the fans are really concerned about this right now. You did a great job in revamping the football program, satisfying many, many people. But I just don't know how you're going to handle it with the basketball right now, considering I'm not going to go in and rehash what the numbers are, but how do you reevaluate that?
Well, John, it's a really good question. And first of all, I want to thank you for all of your years of service and support. I'm just amazed at the kind of interest and support that we have. So I want to thank you for that. Listen, I want to be very clear. I am not naive to the fact that we've had 3 straight 20-loss seasons. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable not only in my eyes, it's unacceptable in Fred's eyes and in our men's basketball program. We can't have results like that. And so part of this is trying to define, frankly, what are those attributes of the players and teams that are successful in the Big Ten? And what are we doing to create those types of teams? At the end of the day, it really isn't that hard to figure out. Obviously, talent's really important. But every conference is different, whether it be football, basketball, but there's a certain style, there's a certain level and attribute of both player and program that's necessary to compete. And you're just not going to win in the Big Ten Conference if you're not tough, if you don't play defense, if you're not unselfish with the basketball, if you're not team-oriented, if you're not cohesive, and if you don't rebound. And so, I'm not a basketball expert. Fred is certainly an outstanding offensive coach. But I think so. You just work through some of those things, and at the end of the day, the results matter. But like I said earlier, I've worked with Fred now for 7 months, and he's been here 3 years. I'd like the opportunity to affect together some of the same type of change that we did with our football program, and ultimately, our coaches will be successful or they won't. And we'll have accountability and discipline in our department as well. But we'll start at the top with administration, our executive team, and hopefully we'll have that culture that will permeate through all of our programs and all of our coaches.
Dorothy Lynch Homestyle and Light and Lean Dressing, endless flavorabilities. Got about a minute left here. You got your schedule all planned out because, we've got Number one, Michigan coming to town for women's gymnastics, bowling, 2 senior days for hoops. Plus, you got to, try to follow along with the softball and baseball teams as well.
And baseball and softball's home openers are coming up here in March as well. And so I did look at the weather, and it looks like after tomorrow it's going to warm up substantially. So we're looking forward to getting those teams back here and playing. But no, a great opportunity again for Husker Nation. If you get a chance, come buy a ticket, come out and support these student athletes, be a part of Husker Nation, and we will be eternally grateful for it. Thank you for all that you do for us.
You have to get rested up and fueled up, and for a back-to-back jam-packed weekend. It should be fun around here in Lincoln.
It's going to be awesome. It's part of the best part of my job and our job, and again, just a privilege and a blessing to be able to participate with all of our coaches and student athletes.
Well, Trev, appreciate your time as always. Thanks for helping me out because Greg left me solo here these couple hours, so I appreciate you coming on and always make it easy.
I think you're an upgrade. I really do. I'm gonna have to tell Greg that too.
I hope you do.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More from Sports Nightly coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You're in the driver's seat with Woodhouse. Shop, finance, and buy your next vehicle your way. From the comfort of your home at woodhouse.com, one of our 19 dealerships, or a combination of both. It's that easy. Plus, offering the most wanted new makes and leading pre-owned models, your next vehicle is on the lot or on its way. Shop confidently with the Woodhouse team today. Serving customers and communities since 1975. This is Woodhouse.
If I won one of the 8 new trucks the Nebraska Lottery is giving away in Trucks and Bucks 2022, I'd be off-roading all the time, through muddy riverbeds, across dusty prairies. I'd treat that truck like a tank. I'd be merciless.
Can I ride along?
Only if you wear shoe covers to protect the carpeting, promise not to eat or drink anything inside the cab, and polish the dashboard when you leave.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. The university has a new undergraduate business and law major. Students majoring in business and law are learning to use legal knowledge to better solve business challenges. They are also gaining skills in regulatory compliance, financial services, securities regulation, and corporate social responsibility. Upon graduation, they will boost the state's talent pool in these critical areas of expertise.
Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go is mealtime made easy. Just order delicious meals online for convenient curbside pickup or have it delivered. Want breakfast? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Need lunch? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Doing dinner? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Get pancakes, burgers, fried chicken, lasagna, high-chai Asian dishes, sushi, pizza, and more. If you're craving it, Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go has it with curbside pickup or delivery. Order today at hyvee.com/mealtime.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
3-ball left wing, you betcha! Allison Widener with a triple off the assist from Jazz Shelley.
Faking left, coming right, puts it up, can't score it. Offensive rebound momentarily, puts it up, put back, no good. Another put back, up and good by Walker. Stayed with that puppy and knocked it home.
0-1 to Everett. There goes the runner. The pitch, that's ripped into right center field. That's a gapper for Everett. That's going to roll toward the wall. Rounding third is Anderson. He's going to score. Everett's got an RBI double. It's 3-0 Big Red.
3-1 Huskers, bottom of the fifth. Zumos 1-2, and Farrell swings and hammers it to left. A no-doubt grand slam for Farrell.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Got a big hour coming up for you. We're going to talk a little Husker bowling, Husker track and field. But if you missed it there in that first hour with Trev Alberts, big news as Fred Hoiberg will be back. And Trev Alberts talking about the reworked contract and obviously that the on-court results have not been what they want, that it's not acceptable, but he believes that the best long-term interest in the best long-term interest of Nebraska athletics and our men's basketball program, that Fred has presented a plan for that. So big news there. And Greg Sharpe is on the road with Nebraska baseball as they got a big series coming up with TCU, but he is joining us on the phone to talk a little bit about this news and to preview the weekend. Greg, how's that bus treating you?
It was good. You know, the Dallas area has been hit by some pretty bad weather, so there were some flight delays today, but we managed to get to Dallas and get on over here, and the team is now headed over to Globe Life Park for a practice session tonight, so that's where they are getting ready for tomorrow night's game 1 of the series with TCU.
Well, before we talk about baseball, you heard it, big news there that Trev announcing tonight. What your thoughts on that and just the restructuring of the contract? Kind of a little bit similar to what we heard from Scott Frost back in the fall.
Yeah, very similar. I mean, I think, it's Trev realizing that, you come in the first year as the AD, you don't want to just make rash and decisions, but he also realizes that the fan base is restless, particularly with the performance of the football team and the men's basketball team. But it's also about economics, and I know people are saying, well, this is all about money. Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, the way Fred had his contract structured, there was a lot still out there for Nebraska athletics to cover. But to Fred's credit, Jessica, he's willing to work with that. I think he realizes that he has underperformed as Nebraska's basketball coach, so he's stepping back with his salary for next year. He's stepping away from a bonus that he was due to get for a retention bonus. And he's also going to reduce the buyout in case next year's not any better. So I think I credit Fred for being willing to do that. I don't think there was anything holding him up. He probably could have said, no, I'm not going to do that, and just take the big check and go. But I think Fred feels like he's got a lot of unfinished business to make. And from Trev's standpoint, Jessica, I think it makes a lot of business sense to roll with this. It'll be interesting what the fan base's reaction to this is compared to what it was with Coach Frost. I think it'll be a little bit different. I don't know that they'll be as forgiving for Coach Hoiberg because the results and what we've been watching really hasn't been very good this season. Where the football program, we were frustrated by just the close losses they had. So, and I'm sure you probably had some instant reaction from that here in the first hour, but not overly surprised. But again, I credit Trev in kind of thinking this through and trying to make the best decision for the university.
Yeah, and he said he's been here 7.5 months, and just making sure that he's making the right decision and being able to take some time. And he hadn't been able to work with Fred very much, but has been meeting with him and trying to figure out what the best plan is moving forward. I mean, you got to think that Trev's going to make the absolute best right decision for what he believes is the right plan, and the way he went about it again is certainly impressive, right?
I think so too. And he said time and time again that he knows this is a business and he's running a big business. And so he looked at this from, I think, a real business sense some fans may not like that. I think there are a lot of fans that are ready for a change, ready for somebody new, but it did not make business sense to do this at this point in time. What he did, what he laid out with Coach Hoiberg, I think does make a lot of sense. And now it's up to Coach Hoiberg to go get a better product on the court. Go get better players that fit what he wants to do, and let's start winning some games in next year when this thing gets wrapped up back around.
Yeah, and I think he's excited about some of the guys he's bringing in, and we'll wait. We'll know soon enough what Bryce McGowan's is going to do. But it always bodes well for recruiting when you got a guy that is going to the NBA, and now you got Delano Banton that's got drafted and was playing with the Raptors, and then potentially Bryce being a first rounder. That's got to give you some momentum moving forward as well.
No question. And hey, as we all know, the transfer portal is made. You can really remake your team in a hurry, and they've got to go make some smart moves on that. That'll be part of it. We've seen Scott Frost and his staff take advantage of the portal in the last couple of months. I think have really helped their program, and I think even Trev made the comment that there's some real momentum with football right now, even though they haven't played a game and won't play a game for 6 or 7 months. But you sense that they've really kind of turned a bit of a corner and even had some good recent recruiting news for the football program. So let's hope Fred can do the same thing. It'll be interesting to see who comes back. What does he make some tweaks to the staff? I think that's probably in play for that program in the next month as well.
All right, well, let's talk a little baseball. You mentioned that the weather was kind of dicey there. Is it going to be better? Wait, Globe Life is indoors, right?
Yeah, it's got a retractable roof, so the roof will be closed because it's going to be nasty the next couple of days, but that won't bother at all. And I know the guys are really excited to go to practice tonight and get a look at this gorgeous new ballpark that only opened a couple of years ago. So I think they're anxious to get going. I think the toughest news of the week, and we haven't had a chance to talk, Jessica, since Monday's show because of basketball the last 2 nights, but the real devastating news of the week was the loss of Jake Buns for the season. Such a big part of the bullpen a year ago for this team, and he hurt the elbow last week in Huntsville, Texas, and Coach Bull did announce yesterday that he is out for the season, and our heart goes out to him because he's already had one Tommy John surgery, and now he's got to go back to another arm issue. That'll be tough for him to do. But, the rest of the team, I think, is excited to get back out there and get after it this week against a good Horned Frog team.
Yeah, obviously not the start that they wanted to the season last weekend, but a big opportunity to bounce back this weekend against number 17 TCU. And, got to be excited for a chance to get back out there against some good competition this weekend.
Yeah, I think, northern teams usually start a little slower. I think that's kind of what Nebraska looked like last week, just not quite sharp defensively. Some at-bats weren't overly impressive, but I think you'll see improvement here week 2 and another good chance to line up against a team that's going to be an NCAA tournament team, maybe even a host school in a couple of months. So here you go. If you want to rise to where Nebraska wants to go, and that means hosting regionals and that type of thing, that's the kind of people you need to be playing. And so here we go again this weekend with that. There's going to be a big alumni event down here Saturday. They're expecting several hundred people come down for that. So it'll be fun. There'll be some red in the stands to root on the Huskers starting tomorrow night. So this should be a hoot playing the Horned Frogs in this beautiful ballpark.
You look what Sam Houston did. They turned around and beat number 4 Oklahoma State in 10 innings on Tuesday, following up the weekend. So that is probably going to be a good team moving forward. How important has that been for Will Bolt when he's talking about scheduling leading into the Big Ten to play these kinds of teams and these matchups?
Huge. And again, when you're in the Big Ten, which is not one of the top 3 or 4 conferences in the country as far as baseball, it's usually 4 or 5 where they land, you have to worry about the RPI. Now, we don't talk about the RPI anymore in basketball. They've moved away from that and gone to the net. But the ball bat sports, both softball and baseball, still really rely on the RPI. And so for Nebraska, you need to play good people early. Now, you need to get some wins in there too, but you got to play a good schedule early to build up your RPI so that come late May when the committee is getting together to put together the bracket for the College World Series, that you're a part of that thing. And so you are always going to see Coach Bolt schedule good opponents. And that's certainly the case this week with TCU coming down here. They've got a new coach. Their coach left and took the A&M job after last year, but that's a team that folks in Omaha have seen at the College World Series. They've made 4 appearances in Omaha, the CWS, in the last 12 years. So it's a really good program with good players, and that's certainly the case again this year.
When Coach Bolt did his post-game interview on Sunday with Ben, he had talked about how just, all three phases, the hitting, the defense, the pitching, not good enough, and, that they got to get better in all three areas. But when you come off a weekend like that and going into this weekend where you got another big matchup, what do you think the focus, the goal was? What did this team attack this week?
Yeah, I think they went after defensively. I think they probably did a few extra drills in that area. I think they also have challenged their starting pitching, Jessica, which was lousy last week. I mean, the four guys only threw 10 in the third innings. That's just not going to cut it. The good news is the bullpen, which had to pick up a lot of slack, pitched to a 2.7 ERA. Now, you can live with that. That's really good. But you can't keep going to the bullpen early in games like they did last weekend. So big start tomorrow for Kyle Perry. I think he bounces back. I think he was a little overly excited last week and couldn't kind of get the heart rate down and get settled in. Hopefully he can. Chase Shanneman was not bad, but needs to be better. He'll get the ball on Saturday. And then Dawson McCarville, who made his Husker debut last week, he's a transfer from Grand Canyon University, actually pitched pretty well in his game. That was the game that the Huskers won. I liked what I saw from him, and I think he'll give Nebraska a nice start on Sunday. But I think defensively they worked pretty hard this week on that. And I think they certainly have challenged their starting pitchers to kind of get to where they need to be and where they are capable of pitching to. And I think you'll see a bounce back from all three of those guys this week.
Yeah, what do you need to see? What does this coaching staff want to see out of Kyle Perry to start things off here tomorrow night?
I think Kyle got tried to just be too cute. He tried to pick off the edges. His stuff's good enough where he can challenge hitters a lot more. That was the message from Jeff Christie, is like, you know what, your stuff's good enough. Just throw it. I mean, they're not going to hit you around because you've got such good movement on your pitches. You don't need to pick off the edges of the plate. So just get after these hitters. We'll play some defense behind you and go after it. So I think that's probably the message for Kyle. He's pitched in a lot of college games already. So, again, I think he responds pretty well. He seemed loose today when the team was traveling, but he always seems kind of loose. It's just his personality that he's just the comedian of the group. So I think he will not overdo it again tomorrow for that start. But, Jeff Christie, I think, was pleased with a lot of things that he saw last week from some guys that he rolled out there on the mound, but he just needs those guys that start the game to be much, much better.
And you had mentioned this when we had talked the other day on the show about Max Anderson. He kind of came out, went 3 for 5, and then was a little bit quiet the rest of the way out. What's the key for him to kind of get going at the plate as well?
He'll be fine. He just, he had a great Friday night. Maybe didn't swing it quite as well the next 2 days. He did take a pitch off the elbow in I think it was the second game of the doubleheader on Saturday. So he was a little sore on Sunday, and you could kind of tell his swing was a little bit slow. But he's had a couple days now to kind of recoup and ice that baby down a little bit. So I think he'll be okay for the week. Cam Chick's another one that's got to get going. Cam did not have much production last week, and he's one of the captains of this team. He has to be better, and he offset that with some incredible performances by freshmen. As Luke Jessen went 7 of 11 last week, I'm surprised he wasn't named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. I'm hard-pressed to think somebody hit 660 last week like he did. And then Josh Karen, another freshman, certainly looked good in his Husker debut. So there were some real bright spots for the team, just not enough to overcome a pesky Bearcat team, and that, as you mentioned, turned right around in the midweek and beat the fourth-ranked team in the country. So that shows you that they're a pretty quality team.
Do you expect any changes, any tweaks to the lineup going into this weekend?
No, it'll be interesting to see what he does because he's got some options, but I think he'll probably go with pretty much the lineup that we saw for most of last week. I know we're going to face a really good left-handed pitcher from TCU tomorrow night. This is an All-American type guy that the Horned Frogs throw out there. So I think you want maybe some of your more veteran guys in there to face a pitcher that's going to have a little bit more velocity than what we saw last week. We did not see a lot of hard throwers from Sam Houston. We'll see more guys that throw it in the low to mid-90s from TCU this week. So I think you probably want some guys that have faced that kind of velocity more in their careers.
You hit on the freshmen, but how excited are you to kind of see if they can follow up a few of them what they did last weekend with this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Luke Jessen reminds me, and Husker fans will remember the name Michael Pritchard. He's a little bit like that, just kind of scrappy, just finds hits, finds holes out there. That his swing kind of reminded me a little bit of Pritch. So if he kind of has that type of career, he's going to be a fan favorite for this team. But I'm not sure where Nebraska gets him in. He may have to just be the DH week in and week out because he's an outfielder, but they kind of like the three guys that they start out there. So my guess is Luke's probably going to be in the DH role most of the time for this team.
What's the number one key for you for Husker baseball to clinch a series this weekend?
Starts on the mound. It always starts there. And so those pitchers, Perry, Shanneman, McCarville, have to give Nebraska good starts. I think this is going to be a really competitive series this weekend. It's going to be fun to call. I know the team is anxious to get out there in a big league baseball diamond and play out there. And I think they also are a little down about the way they played last week. So I think they'll be motivated to get out there. But it always starts on the hill. And so if the pitching can rise up their play, I think this will be a fun weekend.
And you expect a pretty decent showing from Husker fans out there. They're having a big alumni event, right? And should travel well to support the team down there.
Yeah, and there were good crowds at Sam Houston last week, and it was almost a 50-50 split. It was almost 50% Nebraska fans down in Huntsville. And I think there's so many Nebraska alums, Jessica, that live in the Dallas Metroplex or even in North Texas up toward Denton. So I think a lot of them will turn out and show up here. And there are probably some people from Lincoln and Omaha that have driven down for this, a chance to go see baseball inside of a big league ballpark. I've talked to several people that said they put this on their calendar and we're going to drive down and watch this series. So I think there'll be a good crowd of Husker fans in attendance.
All right, Greg, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. I know you had a long bus ride, but thanks for hopping on, and we'll look forward to hearing the call tomorrow with you and Ben McLaughlin.
You bet. Thanks.
All right, so Greg Sharpe and Ben McLaughlin on the call. 6 o'clock first pitch, so they'll be have pregame for you coming up at 5:30 on the Huskers Radio Network as Nebraska and TCU set to face off down there in Arlington. All right, we're going to step aside for our first break here in hour number 2, the Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. I'm going to talk a little Husker track and field coming up next.
So, this date was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for dinner.
For sure. For sure. Not really sure why I'm playing with my keys. I literally took an Uber here.
Oh, me too.
Wow.
Can I
Wanna
ride
grab
you
a beer?
around?
Start the night out right. Because you can't drive drunk if you don't drive there. Decide to ride. This message is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber. Copyright 2022, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huskers fans, it's time to plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Single game tickets are on sale now at huskers.com/Ireland. Start the 2022 season in the best way. Plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Buy your single game ticket today at huskers.com/Ireland.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Step into the new year with a new Chevy. Discover the 2022 Traverse, Blazer, or Equinox. The Chevy SUV lineup brings more than looks to the table. Our SUVs come equipped with Chevy Safety Assist, so you can look and feel confident while driving. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase through our streamlined process. Find new roads and explore all our new inventory arriving daily at WoodhouseGM.com and at our dealership in Missouri Valley, Iowa.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
Here is a before winter to-do list from J-Tech Construction. Let's start with windows. Triple pane window technology has saved homeowners countless dollars on heating and cooling bills. Siding serves a crucially important purpose, protecting your home and insulating it from adverse weather conditions. And don't forget about your roof. Designing your roof should be simple and painless, and J-Tech offers several payment plan options. One more thing on your to-do list, called J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
See beyond traditional security with Kidwell. Kidwell's experts collaborate with its data cabling and IT teams to design and install surveillance camera systems that integrate with your network, are easy to manage, and can be accessed from anywhere. The Kidwell team assures every piece of technology performs seamlessly and creates greater confidence and a higher level of protection for your business and staff. From video surveillance to information technology to data cabling. See beyond to what's possible at kidwellinc.com.
There's nothing better than the smoky aroma of grilled beef at the ballpark. This is Anne Marie with the Nebraska Beef Council reminding you to pick up a package of steaks or burgers for your next tailgate party. Whether you're setting up in the parking lot or cheering from home, nutritious beef is a home run choice when cheering on the Huskers. Visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com for delicious beef recipes, grilling tips, and tailgate inspirations. Beef, it's what's for dinner in Nebraska.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and a big weekend coming up this weekend for Nebraska track and field as they will head to the Big Ten Indoor Championships in Geneva, Ohio. And joining us in studio tonight, Darius Luff, a sophomore from right here in Lincoln, Nebraska, right? A hometown kid?
Yeah, Lincoln High, right down the road.
What's it been like competing for the Huskers, being that you grew up right up the road?
It's been amazing, you know. All the same people that have supported me in high school and all that can come and watch me every track meet. I mean, that is in town at least. But it's just nice to be from Lincoln and running for the school that I grew up watching.
Yeah, did you grow up a fan of the Huskers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't live in Nebraska and not be a Husker fan.
Right? So did you have a favorite Husker growing up?
Not track. Football, I always watched football. I mean, Taylor Martinez, Rex Burkhead, those are kind of my guys for football. For track, I always watched, but I never actually knew the names of the people. And then Luke Seedoff, that I got to run with the last couple of years, I was a big fan of him before I got into college to run with him.
Very cool. Well, you run the 60-meter hurdles, and one of the best in the country at it. You have the 9th best time in all of the NCAA, best time in all of the Big Ten. What's been working for you this season?
I mean, I think the past 2 years, finally getting used to the 42s. I mean, it goes up 3 inches from high school, so finally getting comfortable over those and being able to run fast. It took a little time, but I think I finally got it down. And then having Coach Emmanuel that just got added to the team was a big help. And then Dusty's also been a big help too. And I think last year with Joey Daniels and Luke Seedoff, our little trio that we had for a while, those practices were really competitive and really set me up to be successful this year.
Well, you moved into third all-time in program history a couple weeks ago with your time 6.67. That is a fast time to run 60 meters while jumping over hurdles. How do you get to that point where you are putting up those kinds of times? You're talking about breaking records.
I mean, a lot of work went into that. I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. I've been running hurdles since I was 12 years old, so a lot of hard work and a lot of days where I didn't want to be at the track working. A lot came into it.
Why do you like the hurdles? Because, I mean, just a little bit that I know about track, I know it's one of the hardest events. It's so mental, and, everything has to go perfect for you to have a time like what you have done this season. So why did you like the hurdles?
Well, originally I was a sprinter, and every kid wants to be the best sprinter when they're younger. That's just kind of how it goes. But my dad got me started on hurdles when I was younger because he hurdled in high school. So he kind of pushed me towards it, and then I started to see that I had potential in it. And really my dad was the reason I got into it. And he's a very tedious guy, so he got me started on all the little things when I was young and just kind of kept going from there.
Visiting with Darius Luff with Nebraska Track and Field. You won, 4 state titles in high school? Is that right?
All together with the 110s and 300s, I think so, yeah.
4, wow. And so at what point did you think, okay, maybe I could go to college with, hurdling?
For me, it was really my freshman year. I didn't end up winning, but I think at the beginning of the year, I started with like a 16.5 in the 110s, and then by the end of that season, I finished with a 14.7, so I dropped a lot of time during that short high school season. And I ended up losing at state by .006, so I almost won it my freshman year, and I think that's really when I realized that I could probably do a lot with hurdles, and then obviously my sophomore year winning, and then really junior year when I broke the state record is really when I kind of started to realize how good I was.
You're still the owner of that record, right?
I hope so. It was there for a long time, so I hope it stays for a little longer.
How special is that to know you are the fastest, you ran the fastest time of anybody in the state of Nebraska?
It's crazy to think about, just knowing I'm from here and that I own that record. I'm glad I have my name on it, and hopefully people will see that high school record, and then hopefully very soon it'll be here at Nebraska too.
Love it. Well, you're a big part of what you're doing in college here is a big part of why the men's team is ranked in the top 20 and has been for several weeks now. Got up to your highest ranking, number 11, since 2016. How does this team feel different for you? I mean, you've been here for 3 seasons now, but you guys are obviously making some noise on a national scene and got a lot of guys that are doing some big things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are PRing at the right time and hitting their best marks right now. Obviously, with the couple of new throwers that we got with our new throws coach, that helps us out points-wise a lot for Big Tens and everything. I think we have a lot of sprinters that are going to PR this weekend as well, and obviously our high jumpers are very talented. So I think we have a lot of points in a lot of different spots that could be very good for us this weekend.
I know track's an individual sport and you're focused on what you do, but then you also, with a team, are going in. I know you guys have goals of winning a Big Ten title. What goes into that? I mean, are you paying attention to what your teammates are doing? Are you feeding off of that? I mean, how does it go perfectly for you guys to come out on top with the title?
I think we do all feed off each other. I mean, if one of us sees us have a big meet or get a PR, it gets us all excited and want to do good in that meet. So I think when people early in the meet start PRing and running good, that's just going to fuel us all to make sure we take care of our event and get those points.
That's the goal, right? To go in. I mean, I think Iowa is ranked ahead of you guys, but you guys have a lot of potential to potentially maybe go win a Big Ten title. That's the goal, right?
Right, yeah. I'm ready to win one. Obviously, I want my title for my event, but I'd love to win a team title.
What's going to go into that for this team to go win a Big Ten title this weekend?
I think everyone's just going to have to be running their best and throwing their best and jumping their best. Last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of improvement through a lot of events, and we're all starting to peak at the right time. And I think if everyone just takes care of business in their events, I think we'll be set to win it.
And the women's team doing well. Also, they're also ranked in the top 20. At one point, y'all were the only Big Ten team to have both men's and women's ranked in the top 20. What's that like? Do you guys feed off of each other with the men's and women's team as well?
Yeah, last year, kind of men's and women's, we were kind of separate. We weren't really working out together or anything. So this year has been a lot different. We're all working out at the same times, and events are working out with each other. So the girl hurdlers are working out with us, and the sprinters are working with the sprinters. And I think that's really helping the women's team. Just to have that competitiveness at practice. We have some girls running with the guys and stuff, so we're pushing them. It'd be really nice to see the girls' team score high and even win it if they could.
You guys take a lot of pride in supporting each other, and that you both are one of the top teams, not only in the conference but in the country.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for us. just to see our teammates. Obviously, from the men's team, we like to see our men's teammates do good. But practicing with the women's team and getting those friendships and stuff, I look forward to watching a lot of the girls compete. And I think it's a big thing for us.
What's the difference between, so you're going to compete in the indoor, and then you guys will move into the outdoor season here before long, but what's kind of the difference in competing in between the two?
Indoor, as far as scoring and everything goes, it's a lot harder because for me, obviously, my event's shorter, so those times are even closer. Outdoors a little different because you get a regional before nationals, so you kind of have to run good on that day. It's not just about the best time of the season. So indoor is a little harder, but I think people are getting ready to get outside for some nice weather and start running outdoors.
All right, going into this weekend for you, what's the goal for you? Do you have like a time set in your mind or personal goals that you're looking to achieve?
Obviously, the school record's on my mind, but as far as this weekend goes, I'm not too worried about the time. It'll come if I run good. I'm more worried about just winning and being a Big Ten champ.
And do you feel prepared in the work that you've put in up until this point to be able to go maybe potentially do that?
Yeah, I feel really healthy. Legs are feeling good. I've ran really consistent at the 7.70 range all season. We went to Arkansas. I PR'd and went in the 7.6s. So I think when the time comes and with all an adrenaline pumping, I think a PR is definitely in the future.
Well, best of luck to you and the rest of the team coming up this weekend, competing again in the indoor championships for conference title up in Geneva, Ohio. And I look forward to seeing how you guys do. I know it'll be, I think they're streaming it on Big Ten Plus, so you'll be able to check it out there. And hopefully you guys bring back lots of titles and a team title as well.
Yeah, that's the goal.
All right, that is, again, Darius Luff with Nebraska Track and Field. We got to step aside for a quick break. We got more Sports Nightly coming up next. Nebraska 811 says, go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Welcome to Ag Answers. Today we're talking about renewable biofuels like corn ethanol and soy biodiesel. Electric vehicles continue to make headlines as we look for ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But did you know by using ethanol, you can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 46% compared to traditional gasoline and by up to 86% when you use biodiesel compared to petroleum diesel? Locally produced biofuels are the here and now solution to combating climate change. They are good for our air, good for our wallets, and good for Nebraska. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Momentum. It's building at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. With game-changing work in precision agriculture, nanoscience, and digital humanities. We're unlocking mysteries in brain research, solving the impossible with remote surgery using robots. And we're creating bold futures with world-leading research in early childhood education. We don't slow down, and we're not letting up. We are Nebraska.
Here's the pitch. That's a base hit down the right field line for Anderson. Scoring is Banjoff. Chesson around second. Digging for third. He's in there. It's first and third. Still nobody out. 3 straight hits off the bats of the Huskers. They lead it 1-0.
Max Anderson and the Big Red head to Texas tomorrow as they take on TCU at 6 p.m. Catch all the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network with pregame coverage beginning at 5:30 p.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today we're tackling the issue of GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. GMOs may sound scary, but they're actually benefiting our environment and consumers. That's because GMO crops help solve specific problems like insects, food waste, and droughts. By selecting good traits from one plant or organism and adding them to another, farmers are safely using science to produce high-quality foods better than ever before. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he's so cold. The furnace is out again. But wait, he sees an opening. SOS! SOS, he screams and calls 391-2336. SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer. Boy, he made the right call today as SOS is already on the way. SOS is your trustworthy company since 1950, and with Luxair, you get free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. Call 391-2336 or visit soshvac.com today.
Happy Monday, everybody! Yay!
Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week.
Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday. Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting. Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Got it for the record. You just heard Nebraska basketball history at Bryce McGowan's with 446 career points, the most points ever scored by a Nebraska freshman.
Freshman phenom Bryce McGowan's and Husker Hoops host the Iowa Hawkeyes tomorrow night at PBA. Catch all the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network with pregame starting at 7 p.m. and first tip at 8. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Osborne.
And I'm Coach Frost.
Statistics prove that youth who are mentored and receive support and guidance from a caring adult show measurable improvement in academic achievement, motivation to succeed, and hope.
Over the past 30 years, Teammates has served more than 43,000 youth, and right now there are more than 1,000 waiting for a Teammates mentor to visit with them once a week in school.
For more information on how you can help the Teammates Mentoring Program, please go to teammates.org, and thank you for supporting our youth.
Sponsored by Nebraska Crossing Fast Cash app. The Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly, I'm Jessica Coody, and a special guest joining us here in studio, Kendall Hoffmeister with Nebraska Bowling is joining us in studio because they have a huge weekend coming up, the Big Red Invite, Friday through Sunday here in Lincoln at Hollywood Bowl. But not only is it a big tournament weekend for this team, but also going to be the debut, the television debut, first time ever bowling will ever be on the Big Ten Network. So big weekend coming up for the Husker bowling team. Kendall, how excited are you guys for this weekend?
Oh, we're all so excited. We're ready to go and just really looking forward to it.
What does that mean to you guys as a team, as a sport, to have bowling on TV for the very first time?
It's just so good for the sport. It just shows what we do in a day, like what a match looks like, the excitement that surrounds bowling. Kind of underrepresented so far. I mean, first time on the Big Ten Network, first time collegiate bowling's been televised besides the national championship.
That's amazing. Will be fun to watch. So for people that are listening in, and I know there are a lot of fans of you guys, and especially being national champs, 12-time national champs, but for those that might be unfamiliar with how a whole kind of weekend looks like for a bowling tournament, what is it? Can you break it down for us? What goes into it?
All right. So one tournament consists of 13 matches. So we face 13 teams, or 13 matches head to head. There could be 8 teams there. There could be 18 teams there. So the first day of the Friday is our Baker match. So we have five game Baker matches, and then we go to Saturday, which is a 5-match traditional game. And then Sunday is best of 7 bracket play usually. And that kind of sums up that weekend.
So, and you guys have 6 teams that are ranked in the top 25 this weekend that will be here in Lincoln. And then this one here at home. And then you got only one other one in the regular season before you head into like the postseason. So how important is this weekend for you guys?
It's really important. We've been doing really well. So we just keep doing what we're doing. We'll be perfectly fine in the postseason.
And you guys welcome a crowd, right? It gets pretty rowdy, right?
It's huge. It's one of the most packed bowling tournaments there are in all of college bowling, I want to say. But it's huge. We get the home crowd, we get the parents, we get the athletic department, other athletes, students as well. Just everyone kind of loves bowling around here.
It's not surprising, though, that Nebraska has one of the best college bowling atmospheres, being that they're the best in pretty much every single sport. Let's talk about your story. How did you kind of get into bowling and at this level where you thought, hey, I could go to college and go be a bowler and have this kind of opportunity?
Yeah, so bowling has always been in my family. My grandparents own a center back home, and I've just always been around it. But I never really took it seriously until like 7th grade. That's when I first started to get different bowling balls, getting into middle school bowling, into high school bowling. And then my junior year, I filled out the questionnaire for Nebraska bowling. I'm just like, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And then Coach Straub at the time reached out on some random day in the summer. And I'm like, Nebraska bowling? Like, no way. Like, my parents are pulling a joke on me. And it was real. I came for my visit, and now I'm here.
That's awesome. What's it like? Because, this is a program that competes for national titles. And, you guys are the reigning national champs. What's it like kind of having that pressure where people expect you guys to kind of be at the top every single year?
To be honest with you, I've learned to ignore that pressure. It's something you have to learn coming here with that ad on your back. You have to learn how to deal with that pressure and just kind of brush it off. It's like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's like, yeah, I'm just a national champion, whatever. So you have to kind of really deal with that. We work with sports psychology a lot to just kind of be in the zone and just see the field, as Coach would say.
That's awesome. Visiting with Kendall Hoffmeister with Nebraska Bowling. Big weekend coming up this weekend. Okay, for those who might be listening and want to, maybe they're just going to go bowl for fun. What is your number one piece of advice for someone that wants to maybe be better at bowling?
Oh, that's tough. I'd go with the simple route of hit the pin in the middle.
Hit the pin and aim for the pin in the middle.
Yep. When all else fails, just hit the pin in the middle.
That's awesome. But for you, because you are an expert and really good at it, is there a strategy in place when you're going up in these matches and you're facing, different bowlers and depending on what is going on around you in the match?
Yeah, the biggest part, we practice a lot. So when you get to the tournament, how you are physically is how you're going to be that weekend. So a lot of times I don't like to think about my physical game because I'm here, this is what I'm doing. But when I'm bowling in a match and we have all this excitement around us, we're bowling on one lane at a time. So all you see is one lane and all you focus on is one lane and your teammates behind you.
So if you bowl a strike, do you celebrate? What are you like? Do you guys get emotional or
we
you
get
just
excited.
poker face?
We get excited, we show it, we smile, we clap, everyone cheers. We have a new thing we started this year where the person that threw the strike will yell Husker coming off the approach and the rest of the team will yell power.
Oh, awesome. Are there any Go Big Red chants that happen?
Oh yeah, when we start our day, we go Big Red, and then oftentimes parents there will do the typical Go Big Red. That's amazing. This weekend will be filled with that.
That's awesome. So, you were a big part of this team winning a national title last year, and I know it's kind of what the expectation is around here, but being that you guys did, come off a national championship winning season a year ago, what did you kind of take away from last year that you're trying to apply to this year as, a redshirt junior, as one of the leaders of this team, that you guys did so well last year to maybe make another run at another title and defend the national title this year?
Yeah. We had a meeting the week after national championships, and the title of it was How to Repeat, and there was a long list of I think 10 things, and the number one item on that list is don't try to repeat. It's in the moment, bowl as good as you can, throw a good shot, and good things will come. So complacency was another big thing. Just don't wipe it off as like, yeah, we're national champions, we'll do it again, because nothing's for sure in bowling. But just doing the best we can in that moment will get us good places.
What a great approach. Well, Kendall, appreciate you spending some time with us. Can't wait to see you guys in action this weekend on television, but also if fans are listening and want to come out and support them. It's a great atmosphere as well, right?
Yep, it's plenty of fun.
All right, so coming up again tomorrow, Friday, February 25th through Sunday, February 27th at Hollywood Bowl, all throughout the weekend for Nebraska bowling, and also on the Big Ten Network for the first time in history. Best of luck to Nebraska bowling as they have a big tournament this weekend. All right, we got to step aside for a quick break. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More from Sports Nightly coming up next.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
If I won one of the 8 new trucks the Nebraska Lottery is giving away in Trucks and Bucks 2022, I'd be off-roading all the time through muddy riverbeds, across dusty prairies. I'd treat that truck like a tank. I'd be merciless.
Can I ride along?
Only if you wear shoe covers to protect the carpeting, promise not to eat or drink anything inside the cab, and polish the dashboard when you leave.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Matt Moorhead or Joanne Shamanek in Lincoln or Scott Jeffers in McCook today.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Final segment here on Sports Nightly. And again, in case you missed it in that first hour with Trev Alberts announcing the return of Fred Hoiberg as head coach, saying that over the past few weeks, he's had several productive meetings with Coach Hoiberg, and they agree that the results of our team are not acceptable. No one is more disappointed or frustrated than Fred Hoiberg. I've known Fred for a long time and watched him build and lead successful teams. Fred has presented to me a plan that I believe is the best long-term interest of the Nebraska Athletic Department and our men's basketball program. Additionally, Fred has agreed to restructure his contract to help us make the changes that are necessary to reorient the program. I believe in Fred, and I look forward to working with him as he executes his vision for the future of Nebraska men's basketball. And right after that, Fred Hoiberg put out a statement as well, and he said, "As I said when I was hired 3 years ago, it is an honor to be the men's basketball coach at the University of Nebraska, and I'm excited to continue to lead the Husker program. This has always been a special place to me and my family, and we have grown to love the Lincoln community in our time here. I appreciate the confidence that Trev Alberts and university leadership has shown in me. Our results on the court have not been what anyone would have hoped, but I am more committed than ever to building a successful basketball program at Nebraska." So there you have it. And again, Nebraska men's basketball wrapping up the regular season home slate, the last game of the season inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, coming up tomorrow, 8 o'clock against number 25 Iowa, and senior night. And 7 different seniors will be honored coming up tomorrow night, including Kobe Webster, Lat Mahan, Derek Walker, Trey McGowan's, and a couple of others I am forgetting right now, but a couple of those players still have the option to have another year of eligibility, and probably will be weighing those decisions and determining what the next steps are for them, but could see them back. Alonzo Verge Jr., Trevor Lakes, and Chris McGraw are the other ones that I forgot. So those 7 Huskers will be honored coming up tomorrow night inside PBA as they get set to play Iowa. And some of those might be back, but few of them will be playing their final game inside PBA. So you heard Trev Alberts saying earlier, would be nice to have a great crowd to send them off, but also just to show up and support this team as they look to get a win on inside PBA coming up tomorrow night. It is a crazy busy weekend. That is just one of 2 senior day celebrations inside PBA this weekend, as Nebraska women's basketball, not only their home finale, but their regular season finale, the last game of the season. And the Big Ten women's basketball standings are still pretty jumbled up heading into the final 2 games of the year for all teams. Final game for Nebraska, depending on what Northwestern does tonight against Purdue, it could have implications on whether Nebraska is a 6 or 7 seed going into the Big Ten tournament next weekend. So a big game with that, but also a big game when you're talking NCAA tournament seedings and the kind of momentum you're on. And the committee looks at that, what you've done at the end of the season to determine where you kind of end up in those seedings. So a big game there. If they could win another one at home, protect the home court, guaranteed, pretty much locked into a bye there. So we'll see if they're the 6 or the 7 seed, but still a lot to figure out in the top half of the bracket as well, as a lot of teams jumbled at the top. It's going to come down to these final games of the season for women's basketball. But that's what's fun about it, is that when there's lots of competitiveness going on and jockeying there at the top. So we won't know the opponents or the seeding until after these final few games are played here at the end of the season. We talked about bowling all weekend long here in Lincoln. Women's gymnastics, a massive meet coming up Saturday, 2:30 inside Devaney, as they are set to host number 1 Michigan and the defending national champions, the Michigan Wolverines. And the Huskers are coming off their highest team score of the season at the Big 5 meet. So lots of momentum going into this one as they host number 1 Michigan. And then baseball and softball will be on the road. We will have all of this right here on the Huskers Radio Network. It's going to be, once again, a busy weekend here inside our Huskers Radio Network studios. So you heard Greg Sharpe earlier. They will be on the call. Greg and Ben McLaughlin coming up at 5:30 tomorrow for the Husker Baseball pregame show. And then we'll have an hour of Sports Nightly tomorrow night, leading into the pregame at PBA with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen, leading into the tip-off at 8 o'clock with Nebraska men's basketball and number 25 Iowa. Coming up tomorrow night, we're going to hear from Sam Hybe and Michael Caton as they talk about this last one here inside PBA on Sunday against Northwestern, and a couple of seniors that will be honored on Senior Day as well. All right, been a fun show here tonight. Lots going on and a busy weekend. And John Croft of Lincoln has been chosen as tomorrow's men's basketball game contestant to putt for a Porsche, brought to you by Porsche of Omaha. If John makes the putt on the court at halftime, he will win a 2022 Porsche. For more information and the official rules, go to huskers.com/putt. That's all the time we have. Thanks for listening.
400 with your Husker thoughts.
United Healthcare believes small businesses are vital to our economy and an important part of our communities. Join United Healthcare in celebrating small businesses. I'm Rob Broomfield, United Healthcare of Nebraska's CEO and a graduate of the University of Nebraska. We want to recognize your small business with the Spotlight on Small Business Sweepstakes. Winners receive radio interviews, social media recognition, and more. To enter, visit huskers.com/spotlight. United Healthcare, proud partner of Husker Sports.
You're in the driver's seat with Woodhouse. Shop, finance, and buy your next vehicle your way. From the comfort of your home at woodhouse.com or one of our 19 dealerships, we've got something for everyone. From new stylish SUVs that blend comfort and capability, or a pre-owned truck packaged for durability and everyday functionality. When it's time to upgrade your drive, shop confidently with Woodhouse, serving customers and communities since 1975. This is Woodhouse.
Here is a before winter to-do list from J-Tech Construction. Let's start with windows. Triple pane window technology has saved homeowners countless dollars on heating and cooling bills. Siding serves a crucially important purpose, protecting your home and insulating it from adverse weather conditions. And don't forget about your roof. Designing your roof should be simple and painless, and J-Tech offers several payment plan options. One more thing on your to-do list, called J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul. Not to mention their injury list.